Many people think that the key to protecting their wealth is owning things. You own the house or the business or the investments. But in estate planning, ownership isn't always the goal. In fact, the real power often comes in controlling assets without technically owning them. So ownership means that it's legally yours. Your name is on the title for the house. It's in your name. Control, however, means that you direct how the ownership is used, how it's invested, how it's distributed, even if you don't personally own it. And that distinction between control and ownership is one of the most powerful tools that we have in trust and estate planning. Let me give you a few examples. Let's think about asset protection. Now, if you own an asset outright, it's potentially exposed to creditors, to lawsuits, to maybe even your own children's divorces. However, if that same asset sits inside a properly drafted trust, or perhaps an entity such as an LLC or a limited partnership, then you may still control it, but it's no longer legally yours. And that separation between control and ownership can be a shield. Let's think about tax planning. So if you own an asset in your own name, that can increase your taxable estate for estate tax purposes. However, if you control that asset through a trust or an entity, or even what we call a power of appointment, then you can guide how the asset is used without pulling it into your estate for tax purposes. Or what about family stewardship? Families often want to guide how wealth is used by a younger generation without just handing a blank checkbook to a 25 or 30-year-old. A trust lets you set the rules, set the timing, set the values, control without direct ownership. Now, just also know this, it's not about giving up power. Instead, think about structuring the power in a way that protects your family. When you own everything, you've got some exposure. But when you control things through the right legal structure, you create stability, privacy, and long-term protection. So when you're thinking about your estate plan, don't just ask, what do I own? Instead, have a mind shift or a shift of the thinking and think, what do I want to control and how do I want to control it? That's where the real planning begins.